Hi, I'm Laura Watling, head coach at Riverdale Ridge, and congratulations. If you're watching this, your daughter has accepted a position with Riverdale Ridge Volleyball. Just to give you a brief introduction, we do have 3 teams. There is varsity, coached by myself and Carl Bartlett, and then we have a JV team, which this year is coached by Chris Weems and Kate Thompson. And then we also have a C team with Deanne Romero and Jenny Swanson, as well as a floater coach. So you might see Taylor roaming around. She will be helping us throughout the season as well. We're very fortunate this year to have the coaching staff that we do, but let's get started on some of our rules and expectations. Make sure that we're all clear. First of all, for match days, our home games work where JV and C team will play at the same time at 5 o'clock. Those games are 2 out of 3, and they play to 25 points. C team will be in the Aux gym, JV will be in the main gym, but when the game is done, the players are not done. They will then stay to watch our varsity play in the main gym, which starts immediately after the JV match is finished, typically around 6 p.m. Those matches are best 3 out of 5. So yes, sometimes nights can get a little bit long. We understand that. However, we are setting a very clear expectation that this year all players will stay in uniform and stay there together to cheer on and be part of the program until the last point has been scored and the match is over for varsity every home game. Okay, so please make sure they are there. Only if there is a very clear emergency or something prearranged with a coach, a parent would need to make sure before any player can be dismissed. If a player does not stay and we notice they're not there, there will be some consequences that we will discuss with them per team and coach. As far as our away games, everyone travels together to the away game. Buses can be somewhat full. However, we have room for everybody. Everyone must travel together to our away match. New this year, we are requiring that every player stay through the end of varsity, even at away games. It promotes more of that program culture and that we're all in this together. So parents would be able to sign their kid out, but not until after the varsity match is over. And so if they want to ride home with you at that point, they can, or they can take the bus back, because we will always have a bus back to Riverdale Ridge. So they will have a ride to and from the game, and if you would like to come and take them, you can, but not until the varsity match is over at the end of the night, okay? Our attendance policy is really that everything we do in season is mandatory. Practices, games, team building activities. We're in season, so it is considered mandatory. There will be a fun program night where we go watch Metro State University play ball. We get in for free. It's a really great night. That will be coming up, and it typically takes place in lieu of a practice, so it's not an extra weekend event. This is usually on a Friday. Once that time has been confirmed and set, we'll send that out to you. We also understand that players might have to miss a practice. It does happen. People get sick, we have illnesses, we have family emergencies, things that pop up. If a player has to miss a practice or a match even, for whatever reason, this must be communicated to the coach, their particular coach, one or both would be best, before they leave school that day, right? We need to know in advance, even for practices, if a player isn't going to be there. And we are not all in the building here at Riverdale Ridge, so we don't have access to attendance data. If somebody leaves early, we don't know. And that is not communicated to us, so it is up to the player and or parent to get that information to us immediately so that we can prepare accordingly. If the absence is not a legitimate illness, and I'll go through that in a minute, a legitimate illness or a family emergency, then it's going to be an unexcused absence. All right, and that will also be determined by the coaches as to what type of penalty might be in play. But unexcused absences, especially from practices, will result in that particular player not playing the next day, or at least not starting the first set. It just depends on the severity of the absence, how long, whatnot. Regardless of whether it is excused or not, we still need to have contact. We still need to know so that we can plan for that night's match or practice. We have had it happen in the past years. It's become apparent that people understand this idea, I can call in sick and then I'm good. Except we know, because it does come out in various ways, thank you social media, that players are not always sick. And so if we find out that a player has called out sick, but they're not in fact sick, there will be a different set of consequences in play, probably for insubordination or something to that effect. All right. It's sad to say, but yes, this does happen. And yes, it is embarrassing when it happens, but we will make sure we deal with that appropriately. Parent concerns. I know that there will be parents who get concerned with playing time, or fairness, equity, whatnot. If you have a concern, first of all, it needs to be addressed by your daughter before you bring this to us. If it is a playing time or practice, equity issue, position, your player must bring it to us and have that conversation before we meet with you. If you want to arrange a talk with us, but if we find out it's about something involving playing time, we're not going to have that conversation until we've had it first with your daughter. All right. If after we've had that conversation, you still have concerns or you understand, need more clarity on the issue, we are happy to have that meeting. We can do that, but we will set it up also for a time that does not conflict with practices or matches to make sure that we can still be available to the rest of our team. Please do not, under any circumstances, approach a coach during or directly after a match. That's not allowed. We're not going to be able to talk about it then. Please give it a night to cool down, period. We require that before you come to us with anything. I want to be crystal clear though. If it is a playing time or positional issue, please understand that as of our tryouts, we speak to every single player individually on what team they're going to be on, what position we see them playing, and what role and how much we see them contributing, meaning playing time. They agree upon that when they accept the team. So anything, if we differ from what we have told them, that could be a legitimate concern. But if we are following exactly what they agreed upon at the very beginning, this isn't a conversation. They knew what they were getting into, and that's what they've been accepted. It doesn't mean that your position cannot change, and I am very clear about that. Things will happen throughout the season. Playing time increases, decreases based upon practice, attendance, performance. But understand most of those playing time issues are already discussed at the outset of the season when we have our tryouts. And also to be clear, make sure you understand only varsity athletes are able to letter. It only comes with participating on a varsity team, and What we look at for the criteria for them to be able to letter is that they have completed an entire season with the varsity team. They have remained academically eligible for the majority of the season, so they could play more than they couldn't. And they have had no behavioral incidents with the school or with the team. Those are really our big three criteria. If they meet those, which is usually a given, then they will get their letter at the end of the year during the banquet. Another thing that we're going to be instituting this year is making sure if your player is academically ineligible, they will be required to be at practice, but they will not be able to practice. We will ask them to sit off to the side, work on their homework, get done, and try to get caught up so that those grades are in. And when they can show us that everything has been submitted or the grades are done, then they can come back to practice and hopefully be eligible then for the next week with the team. Thank you.